I think that's something for us to pay attention to in this passage. In Elijah's story, we get evidence that God shows up in gentle ways, and God calls us to the place where we are and the life that we've got. Often we want a God who is clearly perceptible. We want the earthquake or the fire or the wind. And yet, sometimes when we focus on that noise, we might miss the God who shows up in the silence and calls us to the things that are already here. Prophecy, I think, starts there, starts here, in the silence, in the here and now. In that silence and in that here and now is where God meets us and shows us the things that God has for us to do in our time and our place with the people in our life. We might not feel like prophets, particularly in the sense that Elijah was a prophet, but God shows up for us, and God has things for us to do where we are, with who we're with. Sometimes we might hear of a modern-day prophet or someone in our time who is called a prophet or known as a prophet. As we talk about these Old Testament prophets in the coming weeks, I also want to be thinking about modern-day prophets, people who hear a call from God and respond to it, people who inspire us to live with courage and integrity. So each week I'm going to aim to mention somebody who has lived out this kind of role in our world. And if you have ideas, I would love to hear them. Please feel free to share them with me. For today, as we talk about silence as the beginning of prophecy, someone who has come to mind for me is Desmond Tutu. Tutu was appointed by Nelson Mandela as the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which formed after apartheid ended in South Africa. Supposedly, Tutu would lock his door each day for an hour of prayer that he would not allow to be interrupted. He would tell people that he couldn't do the work that he did before or after that hour of prayer without that time of stillness and silence and listening. It was critical in his ability to be present to people, to speak truth about the harms of apartheid, and to encourage healing and reconciliation among people impacted by it. Maybe you don't find yourself with what feels quite like that kind of magnitude of task. And yet our world, our country, our county are clearly deeply in need of healing. And so prayer and stillness and silence are critical for us. They enabled us to see that God is close, though maybe not always loud and conspicuous. Often God speaks in a gentle whisper through that still small voice inside of us already. In stillness, we're more likely to hear it.